Hello, everyone. Welcome to another season of SASA's Archeo Gaming Live. This summer, we're featuring SASA gamer Julie Levy with special guests each week. They will be playing through the two Legend of Zelda games, Breath of the Wild, and the newest game, Tears of the Kingdom. What is SASA? SASA stands for Save Ancient Studies Alliance. It is their mission to reverse the current downward trend in the study of the ancient world by engaging the public and bringing together students and scholars to share their passion for the study of the ancient world in order to inspire a vast new generation of students. We do this in many ways, like these live streams, other live streams like book clubs and master classes. We have private reading groups going on over the summer, so RSVP at our events page. We also do research on the downward trend, have a virtual conference in July, have an open access database that is searchable, and much more. Where to find SASA? You can search Save Ancient Studies Alliance. We mainly post on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and we have a TikTok account. Archeo gaming streams are only streamed on Twitch, but will be saved on YouTube later. Some protocol for the event: please be kind and respectful. Listen and ask thoughtful questions throughout the event. Please be patient with technology and those administering it. We try very hard to be organized, but inevitably there are some blips. These, again, live events are streamed on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and will be saved on those platforms. Archeo Gaming is only streamed on Twitch. And of course, there are spoiler alerts for these games. You can subscribe on Twitch. You can enjoy SASA's live events such as Archeo Gaming book clubs, reading groups. Please consider to support SASA with a recurring monthly donation. For as little as $3 a month, you can help us save ancient studies. You can also subscribe on Twitch for free through your Amazon account. And with that, thank you for joining us and have fun.
Ooh. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Was my voice silenced the whole time? Oh my gosh, I've been talking about this, that, and the other. Oh wow. I'm sorry. Thank you for letting me know. Um, well. Okay, so to summarize all my yammering for the last 20 minutes, gosh. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was talking about um, how Terrytown is, a peek at how humans actually change the landscape in ways that future archaeologists will be able to detect. Um, then I was talking about the colossal statues of the seven guardians. We'll get back to them, so I'll talk about that again. But oh man, I'm so mad at myself. I can't believe my mic was off. I'm so terribly sorry. But please do let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to get some feedback. I hope that, that my voice is coming through now. So here we get our. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Um, so here we get our first interaction with a Gerudo, and I do love that they typically, although not always, have dark skin. Um, I love that they come in a range of heights and builds and skin tones, and that they have their own language, which is pretty unusual in these games. We only get a few words of Gerudo, but here we see Vo, which means man, Vi is woman, and then we get the greetings, Savak, Savaba. Let's have her tell us about the divine beast. So, um, one thing that I was saying. Oh, thank you. Good to see you. Hello, welcome, folks. I was just going to talk about how the divine beasts were built by people. The acolytes of Kiki. I don't know who that is, but welcome. Thank you for joining us. Please feel free to say hello in chat, ask any questions you have. If there's anything you want me to talk about in particular, I've been yammering on about the archaeology and future archaeology. Kiki is a small angry cat. Oh, well, I too would be glad to be an acolyte. I adore small angry cats. And all other cats. Thank you, Danielle. I'm very happy to have you. So, oh, well, let's first watch a memory that was here, and then part-time librarian cat. I adore it. My cat is watching from the couch. She is not so small, and well, she's only angry because she has a cone on. Poor thing. So I really like how they do memories in this game. You have a connection to the past, gives you a little cutscene that is theoretically... Oh, yeah, lamp cat. Theoretically from the point of view of Link, but often there are things in it that Link could not possibly have seen. So this is our Zelda, who is the best. She's not a fighter. Zelda rarely is. That's Link's job, as we see here. If y'all know anything about this game, you'll have seen the symbol that those guys have on their face. It is upside down from the symbol of the Sheikah which I think is very fitting given their origin story. So we'll get a little bit more information on them. They're the Yiga, a clan of people who are basically ninjas against ninjas that are against saving the world. They're trying to let Ganon in. But like, here's a Gerudo with a totally different height, body type, skin tone, but like you can still very much tell she's Gerudo, and I love that. Love it. Although they do all wear high heels, which I think is ridiculous. Savotta. Treasure hunter. That's pretty cool. Yes, we just learned about the Yiga clan. Huh. That's an odd thing to admit. I'm just kind of gonna blast on through here because what I really want is to get into town, and to do that we're gonna have to move pretty fast. So, a brief primer on the Zelda games. Every Zelda game has a Zelda and a Link, but they are all different times and slightly different iterations of Ganon, the third. And there's a sort of recurring oh boy, there are a lot of... So the Gerudo are kind of a little bit based on the Amazons in that they're all women, they're all warriors. Well, they're theoretically all warriors. There's a man born to them every 100 years or so, and they seek husbands by going outside of their city, which is just for them. Only women are allowed in. So there are a lot of slightly unsavory types hanging around. I don't need to buy from you. But the merchants are desperate to get in. There's a whole market here just waiting to be sold goods from outside, but not by men. So, in a previous iteration, the version of the bad guy of Ganon was a man born to the Gerudo, and he was made ruler of the Gerudo by dint of being a male Gerudo, and so they were enemies in that game, which was a wee bit problematic given how Middle Eastern they are, given how I do hate their run. Look at this run. What were the animators thinking? They're thinking they're girls. But yeah, with such heavy Middle Eastern and South Asian influence, having them be a race of enemies was a little bit of a thing. This game, they are not. They are friendly, they are part of the world. You see them wandering all over, traveling, looking for husbands, in fact. Or as wives of other people. So the fast travel in this game is based on these shrines, so I'm going to go ahead and light this up. But I think I will not go and grab it just now. So what I really want to do is get into Gerudo Town, and since I am a Vo, a man, in this game, I would not be allowed into town. Herodotus would love this. Herodotus would indeed. The storytelling here is very epic. The the lessons sometimes are kind of in your face, and it's this game in particular is just very tightly woven. Like everything really works together. Research. Heroic tale. Yeah, right. The guards will in fact kick you out if you try and go in. So I guess spoilers on how to get into Gerudo Town, you have to cross-dress. So I wonder how Florida thinks this game is these days. Is playing this game legal in Florida now? I don't know. So you have to talk to that guy to get the info that there is somebody who's managed to sneak in, and then you have to go find that guy back at the bazaar. So, I love that they have their own language. I wish that we got more of it than Vai, Vo, and Savota. Yeah, his heroic tale is I got kicked out for breaking the law, but this is what happens when you try to go inside. And that'll happen no matter where you are, including if you change clothes while you're inside, which is very funny. Because, you can still completely look like a girl with the top and the face mask, or the veil that they give you. But even if you're inside a building, if you change pants, you will. Oh, I gotta protect myself from the heat. I don't have any clothes that'll do it just yet. So, cold weapon it is. Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know where you are, but it's a heat wave most places. Not where I am actually. It's very nice here right now. A little bit too temperate even. It's supposed to be hotter, but I am quite fond of the. Oh, no air conditioning. I'm so sorry. Fortunately, in the realm of Hyrule, we have magic clothing that deals with the weather. Well, I hope you're staying safe, hydrated. You can get one of those fans, put a little bowl of ice in front of it. Iced coffee. Yeah, I'll be careful with the caffeine, huh? Alright, come on. Just want to get this done. So, cross-dressing is just such a time-honored tradition in so many places around the world. But in Japan in particular, there's a long history of like pretty much full transgender people, and so this is mysterious, right? He's very clearly not Gerudo. And she goes by Villia, which is a nice feminine name. She looks very feminine. But underneath it, we do know that let's just compliment her on her style. So, the implication here is that Villia is, of course, a man, but I'm not so sure that I would call them a man. I think she might be trans, but perhaps non-binary is better. This just gets me. This animation, like seriously, Link. Yeah, I love the music all through this game. The sound design of this game is amazing. It's so subtle. But it's really like broken down music for Ruined World in so many places. Yeah. If you cheat the camera here, you can actually see that Villia has a beard. Yeah, you see that little white patch. Okay, so now we're good to go. I'm actually just going to warp us back out there so I don't have to trudge through the sand. Like, there's a ton to do in Gerudo Town, but I'm just going to head straight for the one that I know I want to talk to. Alright, so... Do you recognize me? Nope! Somehow nobody can recognize you, but if you change your pants, the gig is up. Although, like, I will say that there are a number of people in Gerudo Town who know what a Vo looks like and will, in fact, be like, oh, that's cute. Good job sneaking in. So, I think she is in here. Yes, yes. So as you can see here, we have, you know, a woman in glasses in her own little private library. So it's queuing Scholar as hard as it can. What you doing? She's an archaeologist. There's a long tradition of archaeologists. Oh, thanks for coming. Have a good night. I hope you get cool enough to sleep. So here we have an archaeologist. There's a long history of archaeologists in Zelda games looking at the past of the world, and this goes all the way back in the timeline. The Zelda timeline, the very first game is Skyward Sword, and in Skyward Sword there's a Goron archaeologist that you get to interact with. So here we get a Gerudo archaeologist. She's a little bit more on the literary end than the digging in the dirt end, which I have to admit is also where I am. I have gone on a dig, but not my forte. So she's within a literary she's within an archaeological academic field, which I just love. It is a little bit woo for my tastes, but you know, magic exists in this world. So she's working on her dissertation. There's a temple near the entrance to Gerudo Desert. It's dedicated to the 7 giant statues of the heroines, said to be the divine protectors of the Gerudo. And we're going to go back and look at them again. Because I just love them. I love them so much. So she discovered an ancient scripture, and it reads, "When the symbols of the seven find their place, a blessed path will be revealed." So she's reading ancient texts about ancient places, and working out what it must mean. Now, of course, in game terms, this is obviously going to be a shrine. Like, this is obviously going to be something we can interact with, or it wouldn't be here. But this is not the only place that we get this. There are other places where there's one down near Laurelin Village where there's a broken monument with text that gives you instructions for getting a shrine. There is a guy over by Fort Hateno who is researching a bunch of statues, and the myth that one of them, or the legend I should say, because it turns out to be true, that one of them glows with an evil light. So this information is really interesting to me, that each heroine had a different power, skill, spirit, endurance, knowledge, flight, motion, and gentleness. It's like that never comes up again. I'm so intrigued by how much depth they give to this. I hope that in Tears of the Kingdom, because I haven't played it yet. But if you want to come back next month, I'll be playing Tears of the Kingdom. So I hope that this comes back. Yeah, that is a shame. And it's often the case that archaeology work is in places that are war-torn or hard to travel through. Personally, I would love to travel in Turkey to look at some of the sites there, but it might be dangerous for me, just because of my Jewish heritage. It might not, but I'm not going to take that chance. So I'm going to jump back out to the 7 heroines. We could talk about statuary and architecture. Alright, which direction are we going? There. Basically the way I'm facing. Good. Good, good, good. There they are. 7 absolutely colossal statues. And by colossal, I really do mean colossal. Like, the colossus that word comes from is said to have been, well, is in some sources said to have been roughly this size. So these are huge monuments. They don't seem to be of joined stone. They're all of a piece. And they are carved in some really fascinating ways. So we've got these, I'll jump down to the arm. We've got these very abstracted features below the face, but the face is much more naturalistic, but not very Gerudo. Like, it doesn't have the characteristic big nose, it doesn't have the characteristic top knot hair. What we have instead is this sort of Egyptian-looking headdress with a very Egyptian cartouches, there, and top of the headdress up there, and then also on the hands and below. But the style of the statue is actually not very Egyptian at all. It's wearing these robes that are, let's see, the robes are much more sort of Middle Eastern or South Asian, and they're carved with these intricate patterns that look like they would have been embroidery. So we have a very interesting mix of styles here. And that matches sort of the Gerudo themselves, except, of course, that it doesn't look like Gerudo faces. Oh, and also these swords, which appear to be, you know, like medieval Eastern European swords, or Western European swords, I mean. So, we can solve the riddle, and it'll get us a shrine. But that's most of what I wanted to talk about here, and I do have a couple other things I wanted to do. So, I'm going to skip now over to the Zora, and I hope that you will have as much fun with this as I do. Because I think you all deserve to get to know Prince Sidon of the Zora. And honestly, just getting into Zora's domain will probably take us the rest of my time for streaming, so hopefully that's alright. My cat has come to say hello, in case you wanted a peek. Little lamp cat. Alright. Why are you not? Pardon my tech. Just going to refresh it. There we go. Much better. Alright, so we are meant to go down to this bridge here. But first there's a shrine. Oh, poor kitty. So here we have a Zora. As you can see, they are very sort of elegant. They wear a lot of very layered metal gear, and it is somewhat warlike. You know, that's armor that she's wearing. And they're so polite in a very Japanese sense. When I was speaking to our guest last week, Jacob Coffey, he was telling me that there are some theories that the Zora take a little bit from Japan, a little bit from France, and a little bit from the Maasai. Well, I don't think he said Maasai, but he said African, and that's what I think of when I look at them with their sort of the warrior women, their sort of elongated bodies, and their style of headdress. Don't mind me just doing in-game things. Oh, I guess I haven't taken pictures of some of this. Whatever, it's fine. So, if we head down to Inoko Bridge, we will at last meet Prince Sidon.
Say hey there, young one.
He can assume that we are young because the Zora live very long lives. And yes, he gets his own theme song.
Pardon the entrance, but you're a Hylian, aren't you? I was hoping perhaps you'd have a moment to talk.
He's so dramatic. So welcome to the #1 ship of this game. Oh, and we're still dressed as a woman. I love him so much. What a fantastic name! Being Prince does not give you any special insight into judging other people. In fact, it probably blinds you quite a lot. But, we'll take it that it's less than in the real world. You wouldn't think fish people would be scared of the rain, but it's not that they're unhappy with it being wet. It's that they're worried about its effect on the environment. And it's likely to break dams and flood civilizations. So, when we talk about elegance, of course, I'm not just talking about the garb, I'm also talking about their architecture. So, it is very nice of the game to provide us something to ward off the electricity. I do think I should perhaps change outfits. Do something a little bit more protective, and not use up my frost spear. So yes, I wanted to take a look at just the way that they inlay their bridges, the materials that they use, which is really quite fascinating. The lamps, it all has to be waterproof, of course, because they are semi-aquatic. But it's also just beautiful. Damn. Huh. Maybe I did get it after all. That's a nice thing about the stealth suit. Don't have to fight every single fight. But I'd like to show you Zora's domain. So let's hope we can get there. No time for you. Even their signposts. Look at this. Just gorgeously made. Not all that interested in getting in the river at this moment in time, but boy, Octoroks are annoying. I do like that they keep the same, types of enemies in this game from game to game, Zelda has Octoroks and Hinoxes and more. It never fails to make me smile. So yes, it is always raining here until you defeat the Divine Beast. Which, of course, makes it a little bit tricky, because you can't climb reliably. You can choose your path somewhat, but... So I'm going to choose to run over this area rather than through it, which might take a little bit more doing. There are some electric bats and some thorns. No, don't climb the tree, Link. But also it lets us sort of avoid some of this area where there are a whole bunch of Lizalfos with electric arrows. Who are about to start trying to shoot us. And I do like that electricity works in this game such that if it's wet out, a shock arrow actually covers a wider expanse than it might otherwise. Here we're starting to get into some of the sculpted rock of Zora's domain. You can see there that bluish green, that bluish purple glassy color. That's not the natural color of the area, right? So clearly they have worked this area for a long time. Oh, here we have some electric bats, electric geese. Well, maybe I'm too stealthy for them. That'd be a wonder. Well, I'm too fast for them. That's something. But the whole reason that I wanted to make sure to carry a spear, so I didn't get electrocuted by them. Not doing too bad. Maybe I can switch to something a little bit stronger than a spear. I kill you and steal your steak. And more importantly, your arrows. Okay. Midway check-in. Our little Sidon theme. It is kind of interesting, don't you think, that they actually, you know, give us the enemies eating and stuff. It's a little bit worrisome. Or it would be if they didn't explicitly bring back everyone you kill every time there's a blood moon. The boulders falling randomly in places also started early in this series. There's a place in the very first Zelda where there are boulders rolling down a hill that could get you in trouble if you're not careful. Oops. Maybe I can take them out with a triple bow. Oof. Where are you? Off with you. Oops. Let's get out of here. Okay, now I can actually concentrate on taking out this guy. Oops. Did I drop anything? Nope. Okay then. Oh, we're off the trail. Whoopsie. Follow the lights. Just really elegant stonework. Something that will probably last 100 years without wearing except for the shine.
Hey!
And, you know, depending on how it's made, if it's magic, maybe it won't fade, I don't know. We're high above the river here. Don't fall off. We have a scripted battle. There are not very many of those in this game. Oof. The road into Zora's domain is in fact quite dangerous. But once we get there, we'll be able to warp in and out as we please. Oof. That's a pain in the butt. Hopefully we can just get away from him. Alright, now we begin to be able to see Zora's domain for real. See that giant fantail in the distance. Let's just fly. We don't really need to do all of these switchbacks. So not that far off after all. I wonder why I still even have the music. It's very unlikely to have followed me this far. Yes, welcome to Zora's Domain. A beautiful stonework city, glistening in a lake where all of the stone nearby has been treated somehow, and the Zora live multiple centuries, so it's the one place in this game where people recognize you as though it was yesterday, because to them that's normal. So, there is something to the Japaneseness here. If you look at the way this giant fish at the top of the city is sculpted, it's very much like the roof-topping fish that you'll see on top of like temples and stuff in Japan. And like, people really will recognize you. Isn't it amazing? Like, you've been asleep for 100 years, but alas, you have no memory, so... So, an adult Zora, about 130 years old. Shouldn't you be dead? Maybe, sorry, that's maybe a personal question. So there are some worries about speaking to the village elders. I shouldn't say village, I mean look at this place. So, we should of course seek the throne room, but before that, I don't want to do that road again. So let's just grab the teleport. So yes, so all of this stonework is somehow it's upkept so that it isn't worn by the water. It's really quite lovely. And Laflat here's discussing the statuary. She's the chief secretary. This is a statue of Lady Mifa, and look how realistic it is as compared to the very stylized fish or the very monumental heroine statues down in the desert. This looks just like a real-life Zora, only slightly bigger and made of stone. So the soldiers from 100 years ago are now elderly but still alive. So, like the Sheikah, they are still around and older, but unlike the Sheikah, they have more years yet to live. Well, I mean, it's not like the Sheikah are dying out or anything, but they're not nearly as old as they don't seem nearly as old as some of the Sheikah who were around then. And then we come to the King of the Zora. Some of them get much larger as they age, apparently. So this is Sidon and Mifa's father, King Dorifon, and he is a whale, which is amazing. I love the Zora. You can see Sidon's a shark, and the advisor over there is some kind of ray. It's just really cool. One wonders how he leaves his throne room, if he does. So Dorifon remembers you. Oh, I will, after we get this and get a look at the divine beast, I will want to come back to the idea of memory. Now, the outrage here does make a little sense, but as we will find out, Mifa actually was in love with Link, and it seems that like her affection was returned, but it's hard to say. Link's a bit of a quiet guy. Silent protagonist joke goes here. So we should get a memory here, I think. I do enjoy the Zora Royals. They're cute. Oh, Muzu. Curls my fins. You can just hear him. So here it is. The environmental concerns of a people who are close to the land, who recognize that there is a threat from unending rain, that it could swallow not only their world, but the world beyond whole. So I think Muzu's interesting here. Like, they abuse the power of an ancient civilization and turned Hyrule into what it is today. And in some ways, he's not wrong. Because, you know, the Hylians did make a project of digging up all of the guardians, all of the divine beasts, and those were the tools that Ganon turned against them. And they're currently creating this problem. But to blame the Hylians for that, I think, is a little bit overmuch. even if they did dig them out, they were under the impression that it would help against Ganon. And indeed, in the end, it will. All these shrines, all these towers, they're all necessary for Link to be able to do what he does, and the divine beasts too. But he's also not wrong that the cataclysm would not have covered the land if there weren't hundreds of guardians attacking everyone. If the divine beasts and their champions had not been swallowed by the chaos. Mipha, unlike most of the rest of the guardians, would still be around today. Always happy to have more acolytes of the kitty. So, the floods are coming. And now we get a look at the divine beast, and this, I think, is just really interesting. Right? You get this fascinating structure that was, in theory, created by people. By Sheikah, in fact, so by something close to human. This is manufactured, it's not divine, it's not natural. It's a giant mechanical elephant. I love it. Oh, the reason this Zelda is my favorite Zelda is because she was a scholar. A scholar, an archaeologist, a mechanist. She's great. So they've set this up so that the Zora aren't taking care of it, not because they don't want to or don't know how, but because they are physically unable to. So, in a fairly good guess, Nintendo's very good at setting up ways for you to learn. And in an open world game, that can be a little bit intimidating, but I think they did a very good job with this, actually. This is probably the first divine beast you're going to find if you follow their, if you follow directions and don't, hair off on your own. This is the closest to Kakariko, so it's probably the first one you're going to encounter. And so they have it set up so that it kind of tells you what you need to do, and it gives you sort of like a good setup for doing so. So Zelda also has been preserved by magic. When I first played this game, I actually kind of hoped that she hadn't been. I hoped that she was going to come out a little old lady, but no, she has stayed static, the same as you. Sidon. He's so fabulous. This is an important piece of gear, as this lets me swim up waterfalls. And here we get a little bit more backstory, because this is not just for anybody. So this was made by Mipha for Link. That grumpy old man walk. The animators really outdid themselves with some of these things. Okay. So I do want to... where is it? The album? I want to play this memory for you. I know I can do that. But, oh, there it is. Because I want you to see how she views it before we know the calamity.
Our way to Goron City. Then we'll need some adjustments on that divine beast so Daru can manage it as easily as possible. He's figured out how to get it to move. However, it's apparent that we still have much more to learn. But to think that divine beast was actually built by people. That means we should be able to understand how it works and how to use it to our advantage. These divine beasts, so much we don't know. But if we want to turn back Calamity Ganon, they're our best hope. Tell me the truth. How proficient are you right now wielding that sword on your back? Legend says that an ancient voice resonates inside it. Can you hear it yet, hero?
And it's one of those things that I just really love, is that Zelda knows in her bones as a scholar that the past is not something alien or foreign from us. If the people who built these machines were people like us, then we should be able to understand what they did. We should be able to figure out how it works, possibly use it to our advantage. But even in a less literal sense, this is really very true of all archaeology. There is not some mysterious past that's inaccessible to us. There is only the world built by people. People just like us. And with that, I think I'm going to end this stream. I will be on again next week, and then I'll be taking a 1-week hiatus, and the week after that will start my run of Tears of the Kingdom. So do join me next week, where I'm going to be having a guest on, David Serrano Lozano, who is a wonderful Archeo gaming friend. He is a specialist. He actually is the person who got me into Archeo gaming in the first place. So please do join us for that next Friday, 4:30 p.m. EDT. And after that, in July, Tears of the Kingdom. Thanks for coming. Have a good weekend.